Hey there, this is Derek from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan, taking a look at this Toyota Crown Athlete VX with a 1JZ single turbo version of the engine. Okay, so this one here is from 2001, has 153,000 original kilometers on it, and if you don't know what an Athlete VX is, now is your chance. This is a special limited edition version of the Crown, probably my favorite generation of the Crown at that. Only 300 units made, and comes with a few extra accessories, a little bit of extra power, some different looks, and overall a very unique and cool car from Japan. This one here is going to be exported over to Canada for their 15-year rule. And we'll have a quick look at the condition of the car and compare it to the auction inspection sheet. Now first off, I'm going to switch the engine off so we can watch it the rest of the way. The engine and full mechanicals of the car are all in perfect condition. As far as I could see, there was nothing bad about any of it. Here you can see 153,523 kilometers. Switch the engine off. Okay, and we'll start off with the auction inspection sheet. And so come around here. I will say before we get to it, the coolant looks good. You can kind of see the color over there. The oil looks good. You probably want to change all your fluids when it arrives. And in the engine room, yeah, you get an extra 20 horsepower in this. And so the regular one is 280 horsepower. This one is 300 horsepower. It's not a big difference, but it is cool that the special model does have more power. Here you also get a performance damper by Yamaha. That's right, Yamaha makes the damper for the strut tower brace, which is very unique and very cool. And I do wonder if it actually does have like a oil-filled damper in it, because it does look like canisters. Kind of interesting. Also, in case you didn't know, this engine here, the 1JZ, the 2JZ, the 3S GTE, the 4AGE, all these Toyota engines with the G head, like this one, the head is made by Yamaha. Yamaha makes motorcycles, pianos, and Toyota's engine heads, it turns out. And so one of the best engines, I adore the 1JZ. It's a 2.5 liter, a little bit more horsepower than 100 per liter, known to be extremely reliable, and just an overall great performance engine with a lot of potential if you want to tune it, but also very nice right out of the box. So let's go ahead and close the hood. The reason why this is my favorite Crown of them all is because it has exceptional build quality and, in my opinion, great looks and very nice handling with 4-wheel double wishbone suspension. This one, the VX, actually comes with the BBS LM wheels from the factory. This is how you bought the car, which is pretty cool. 18-inch LMs. Those are, well, I don't know how much they were in when this car was sold, but nowadays a set of those wheels will run you $2,000, $2,500 or so, something like that. And then you get a little bit of a unique aero package. You can see the lip spoiler on the VX version is a bit different. Okay, let's go over to the auction inspection sheet, like I said I was going to do before I got distracted. This is a 2001 Crown Athlete VX. Now, there's also a version of the same package for the Mark II called the Yamaha Power Edition. And it has the same 300 horsepower engine and subtle little changes otherwise. This is a auction grade 3.5, interior C, exterior C. I think they're being a little bit hard on it because the condition's actually quite nice on it. 153,461 kilometers there, automatic transmission, original black paint. Still has plates on it, although those have to come off when we export it. Sales points here: purchase from user, leather seats, which are actually pretty rare on the Crown. And in case you didn't know, the Crown is based on the same platform as the GS300 or the Aristo in North America. Otherwise, there are no other cars that share the same platform in North America, but you can get some parts from that if that's what you need. And it says digital TV tuner, 18-inch BBS wheels, and the report here says seat wrinkles. It actually has some cracking in the piping too, and a little bit of sag. I'll show you when we get there. Interior has some animal hair, which I didn't see, nor did I smell anything weird. Also, no cigarette smell inside the car, even though this one has this. Look at this. I'm not sure if you can see it very well, but there is a curtain railing. No extra curtains, but a aftermarket curtain kit has been in here at one point. I don't think any car that has ever had the aftermarket curtains has ever not been smoked in. They seem to go hand in hand. Now, I'm not entirely sure if the car hasn't been smoked in, but take a look at this. Cigarette lighter, yeah, it's been used, but very briefly. No ashes in there, and no smell of cigarettes inside the car. We'll come back to that in just a second. Okay, steering wheel wear, it's true, it's not in the best condition. I'll show you that as well. Bumper underside scratched, which doesn't matter that much because nobody's looking underneath your bumper. It happens a lot here in Japan. It's a very mountainous country, so a lowered car, even though this hasn't been lowered more than the factory, you're still bound to scrape the underside of that. Okay, exterior has various small scratches. It's true, a lot near the door handles. Probably the previous owner had long fingernails. And then engine oil leak. Now, engine oil leak can be a problem for shipping if it's dripping down. I don't see any of it dripping down. We can get it sent to a shop if you want to have that taken care of. It's really up to you. I think this one's fine to ship. And then the diagram here says P1 and A2. The P1s are both noticeable. There's also a B1 over here that was a little bit bigger than I expected. If you don't understand any of that, that's all on our website, and it has a key to how to read all of that. Okay, so let's do a once around of the car. And impressions on the car are nice. It looks nice and clean. The paint is all in fairly good condition. Now the car is a little bit dirty right now because the pollen in Japan is attacking and we've got a gravel lot with no way to wash it. So I'm sorry about that. The cars are going to be shot in the same condition that we received them. And we'll tell you about any of the good parts and the bad parts. Now these taillights, I've always loved them. They glow in 3 circles there. It looks very cool. The Athlete VX badge there, I think that might have been an option to go with a darker badge, or that was part of the VX package. It's sort of like a gunmetal instead of silver for Crown and Athlete VX. Now the regular version of the 280 horsepower Crown of this generation, the 170 series, is called the Athlete V. And so it's just the VX, the extra X on there. And we're in the jungle now. There's the JDM tree. Now, a long time ago, the JDM tree was smaller. It also didn't have this offshoot tree. If you look back at the old videos, it doesn't have it. Now that the offshoot tree, twice as tall as I am. Anyway, back to the car. Chrome door handles. They're in good condition. The chrome hasn't peeled or anything. And then the headlights are very nice and clear. Have a good look at that. And both of them are just as clear as one another. Looks fantastic. The grille, fantastic. And yes, these cars feel smaller and nippier than you would expect, considering the size. This would be considered a fairly large sedan by Japanese standards. And I guess somewhere around 5 Series size by outside of Japan standards. 5 Series size or E-Class size, maybe a little bit trimmer than those, but same ballpark. Now looking at issues here, we have a few of them. I'll point them out. This is a little bit wobbly. And this here, I think through fiber optics, grabs some of the light from the headlight and just lights that up. I don't think there's actually a light in there itself. Front bumper has been repainted. And it has a few rock chips on it. I'm not going to point those out because I did in the other video, but it does have some flex cracks here that have been painted over. And it's a fiberglass bumper as well. Okay, now the hood has probably about 15 rock chips. Here's an example of what they look like. Here. Looks like the previous owner liked to take advantage of that 300 horsepower. Okay, and then paint stains. They're probably not going to come off without repainting, and so the car's probably okay to run like this. Depends on how picky you are, but a repainting of the hood would really make a difference, I think. And then the paint marks on the roof, right here, there's a paint blend line. And so this back fender has been repainted at some point, and then they stopped repainting around here so that they didn't have to paint all the way up here until this line there. And as a result, the part where they blend the two tends to fade after a few years. You can see the marks there on the fading. And you can see my reflection if you were quick enough. Or press the rewind button. The roof is generally pretty good. mosquito on my arm, 1 second. Now there's no mosquito on my arm. There's probably some paint stains on there that are a little bit hard to see. I don't know what's a substance and what's a paint stain, but they did say that there were paint stains on the roof, or paint marks, P1. Okay, side panels are excellent. If you look down here, there is only one dent on the entire car. Otherwise, it looks like a mirror and it's fantastic. That one dent right here. Okay. And then around the door handles have excess scratching. More than usual, kind of like someone was being clumsy grabbing the door handles. This one here, not so much, but there are some. Piece of the gasket for the windows coming out. A nice large trunk, I'll show you in a sec. Oh, I love those badges. I love something small like that, you know? It's only a little bit different, but for those who know, then they know. If I saw this, I'd be like, oh, I saw one of 300. I think this is our third one that we've exported too. A little bit of a scratch there. And then, yeah, around this door handle, especially in this area, excess scratches. Make sure that you can see that from different angles. And this one over here is the worst out of all of them. So scratches in this area here. Okay, and I got pictures of those in case you didn't see it in the video. Maybe the reflection didn't turn out that well. And you come down here and you see there aren't any dents anywhere. It's looking great. Okay, on to the interior. We'll start with the driver's seat area. Oh, and the underside, all perfect. Toyotas don't tend to rust very much from this generation. It was mostly up until about the mid-90s, it seemed. Okay, pretty standard fare here. We have a leather piece here for the leather seat version. That's the only difference that I can see. Okay, and all power windows are full auto, which is wonderful to see. There's a trunk pop here and a storage place there. It looks like that's a little bit weird. No, it's okay. All right, leather seats. Yeah, most of these JZS 171s or 173s don't have leather, so it's cool to see. And I don't think all the VXs got the leather either. I think this one was upgraded with a few different things, dealer options from factory. And yes, we know it's an authentic VX. It does have this here Crown Athlete VX. And then what is this? Toyota Modelista International. Okay. And then, yeah, just the regular badges. Here's the saggy part of the seat. This is a little bit loose instead of more tight like it should be over here. A little bit loose there. Not the worst. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the section of the piping is missing. You can repipe this, but I'm not sure if it's really that necessary. Full power seats, they all work. And then some wrinkles in this section and in this section. Again, not too bad. Nothing I would really worry about. Couple of wrinkles in that section of the armrest as well. Steering wheel, if it were me, I would replace it. Although, take a look at this. First time I have ever seen volume control, and it was a dealer option. Volume control on the steering wheel. It just clips on here. It feels a little bit cheaper than the rest of the car, but it is very cool that it exists. Looks like it has a telephone answering button too. Cool. Now the wear on here is in this area here. And it looks like it has kind of been sun damaged over a long amount of time. Notice when you put the key in, the steering wheel makes its way down. Watch that. Take the key out, steering wheel goes up. Very cool. Folding mirrors work, no problem there. Okay. This is all a fake wood, but it looks fine. Shifting is good. It does do a little bit of a boom sound going into drive. I don't think it's a big problem. This one has a rear shade, another rare option. That one basically, don't know if I can do it. Not while the car's off, no. It'll put up a shade in the back window so that the sun doesn't easily get in. Seat controls here. It's on many of these big body sedans in Japan, so that when you're in the back seat, if you want some more room, then you can press the buttons there to move the seat forward or tilt it forward or back. Okay. Floor mats are good. Doesn't stank in here, which is nice. Has a turbo timer installed down there, which will keep the engine running for a little bit after you turn it off, but it doesn't seem like it's engaged. AC works nice and well. It has the swing vents. These are some of the coolest things ever. These vents will oscillate back and forth so that everyone in the car is going to get a good amount of AC. And even though it's kind of gimmicky and kind of silly, I still adore it. I love specialty things like that other cars don't seem to have. And Toyota's got them on a bunch. I've seen them on the Crowns. I've seen them on the JZX100s. And I think the Century might have them. There might be someone that I'm missing. Lights have been changed over to LEDs by the looks of it. And this has Super Nintendo'd. It has turned yellow. Okay, a little bit of damage there. Back seats. Let's just pop the trunk while we're here. The back seats are power. I didn't know you could get that in this version of the Crown. I know Crown Majestas had them, but look at this. Power seats. You can tilt them back if you want. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Wow. It doesn't go very far, but it is cool that the car has them. So just put it back. It doesn't have any vibrating seats, and this bottom cushion doesn't move. In like the Century, the whole bottom cushion will move to accommodate the reclining of the back seat. Love that it has them. Again, not something I'd really use that much, other than to say, look what I've got. Okay, and as you can see, a good amount of leg room back here while these seats are both in the full back position. Oh, a cigarette burn there. I just noticed that. Okay. Oh, and LED lights up here as well. Into the trunk. And for being a sedan, it's a pretty nice sized trunk. It is full width of the car, going all the way to the panels in here. And so you can fit a lot of things in. It goes deep in there. Looks like there used to be something here that was covered up. Not too sure. And then down here, there's a compartment with your tools and then a spare tire. Unfortunately, not an extra BBS wheel. You have a full-size spare, but it's a 17 and it's not a BBS. And then there is some wear in the carpeting. It's basically just a plastic board with some sort of like a soft touch material glued onto it, and that's worn away in places. Okay. Oh, and you get an upgraded exhaust as part of your 300 horsepower package, and it does sound quite nice. Not annoying, but definitely a bit sportier than the regular version of the Crown. And so yeah, good package. It's one of 300, so it'll have some collector value. At some point, it might even have some now. I know that they do sell for higher at auctions, and they do look better. And if you want this version of the Crown, this is the one to get. Okay, so that's going to be all for this one. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the comments or send us an email. There's a link to our website in the description. Thank you everyone for watching this, and have a nice day.